and More Spirit takes over coming past the wire. It will be More Spirit to win the Los Alamitos Futurity by a length and a half.
This is just an unbelievable day for Bob Baffert and Mike Smith. They are unstoppable. More Spirit has dominated the Met Mile. He won it by 7 lengths.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Spa Babies, presented by Spendthrift. I'm Dan Illman, along with Nicole Russo. Graded stakes action at Saratoga on Saturday. Doesn't get any better than that. Here's the field for the Grade 3 Sanford 2-year-olds going 3/4 of a mile, and the number 9 headline report is by Spendthrift stallion Gormley. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the Gormleys do on the track this year.
Yeah, Gormley, a Grade 1 winning 2-year-old himself, already off the mark with several winners in his first crop for Spendthrift Farm. He's one of a couple of freshman sires represented in this big field of 12 2-year-olds. I think their trips are going to be important. I think a lot of horses are going to get a learning experience in this race. I think this is the sort of strong race that you're going to want to watch and circle several horses out of it moving forward. I think we're going to find out a lot about them here on Saturday.
One of those freshman sires represented is Practical Joke. He is the sire of the number 1 Wit, the likely Sanford favorite. Wit sold for $575,000 as a yearling. As you can see, a very strong pedigree for trainer Todd Pletcher. Let's watch Wit's debut at Belmont Park. He took all the money. He didn't break well. He was held up in behind horses. He split him on the turn, and he just rolls by the leader in the stretch. Very impressive with a 70 buyer.
Yeah, and Witt got a bit of an education in that debut. He didn't break particularly well. He did get some dirt on his face. He reacted professionally coming on to win. And because of that, I think the inside draw concerns me a bit less than it might have if he hadn't had that experience and responded favorably on his debut. He's by Practical Joke, a son of Spendthrift's leading sire and emerging sire of sires Into Mischief. Practical Joke, a multiple Grade 1 winner himself, a Grade 1 winner going 1 turn at Saratoga as a 2-year-old. And his foals, as you might expect, have come out running off the mark.
Now, the number 2, Candy Landing, he broke running in his winning debut at Churchill Downs, also earning a 70 buyer speed figure by the excellent juvenile stallion Twirling Candy. This horse looked good for trainer Brendan Walsh. Figures among the pace setters on Saturday.
Yeah, and I think this horse even surprised Brendan Walsh a little bit. I think he expected him to get a good experience on debut and move forward off that. And this colt just broke running and never looked back. That 70 on debut matched his wits in these, young career field for the top number in this field so far. And Twirling Candy already had an opening day winner at Saratoga.
The number 3 is Catch the Smoke by first crop stallion Mo Heyman. Mo Heyman was a very well-bred horse. He was a very expensive purchase. He was a good 2- and 3-year-old. His first crop performers have come out running. What are we to expect from the Mo Heymans?
I really like Mahayman quite a bit. Very well-bred horse, a son of Tappet, who's emerging as a sire of sires himself, a half to several graded stakes winners on both turf and dirt. Mahayman, a graded winning 2-year-old himself, so no surprise that his horses have run well at 2, went on to be a graded winner at 3, and his runners have, performed on dirt so far. That's where the opportunity has been. But looking at Mahayman's pedigree and sort of his build, he's got a lot of bone. He's got a big foot. I'm going to be watching these horses on turf down the road as well. Catch the Smoke, one of several winners so far for him, but really taking a step up here.
You're absolutely right. Let's watch Catch the Smoke's debut. Now, keep in mind, this is only against $25,000 maiden claimers at Monmouth, a professional performance. He sat just off the early leaders. He went on by readily. He can certainly improve second time out. He's going to have to as he steps up in class. But I did like the way he finished this race off. Our next entrant is the number 4, Trust Our Journey by the Great American Pharaoh, Triple Crown winner of the Breeders' Cup Classic. Lots of speed on the bottom of this pedigree, and Trust Our Journey has shown that speed in both lifetime starts.
Yeah, Trust Our Journey, a maiden winner at Gulfstream, and then stakes placed in the Tremont at Belmont. A lot of speed in the female family, and American Pharoah on top. Of course, he's more well known for his longer distance classic victories as a 3-year-old, but he was a 2-year-old champion, a Grade 1 winner around 1 turn himself at 2, and he's certainly shown that he can impart that speed as the leading freshman sire of 2019 and the leading second crop sire last year.
Dance Code, the number 5, is up next. Nice little pedigree here. This one's by Honor Code, $50,000 March juvenile. The dam, as you can see, is a half to several black type earners. The second dam was a juvenile Grade 3 stakes winning turf sprinter. And I liked what we saw from Dance Code's career debut at Parks. Let's watch that race right now. Down on the inside, shows the agility to alter course off heels, and then goes after and catches this loose pace setter.
Yeah, and again, in this big field, I'm looking for horses that, maybe learned a little bit on their debut and their prior starts, and for horses that have got that intangible something to, run with some professionalism and grit in this big field. And I thought Dance Code certainly showed that. I liked his agility. I liked the way he came on again, earned a 68 buyer, so just behind the favorites in this race in terms of the top figures so far.
The number 6 is Maryland Brando, a $250,000 son of Flatter. And at that price, he was the second highest hip number at the Fasig-Tipton Mid-Atlantic yearling sale in October of 2020. Lots of turf on this pedigree, lots of route ability, but boy, Maryland Brando ran to his price tag, Nicole. Let's watch the debut at Delaware. He just blew these horses away for trainer Gary Contessa and Carol Cedeno.
Yeah, and I think the criticism is going to be, who did he beat there? And that's fair. But, some nice 2-year-olds have come out of Delaware. It's a sneaky good juvenile program, I think. Maryland Brando, as you mentioned, a lot of route ability, a lot of turf in that female family. So I'll be interested to see what this horse ultimately does. But Flatter over a More Than Ready mare, in terms of the immediate family, there is plenty of speed.
The 7 is Ottoman Empire by 2-year-old champion Classic Empire. This is his first crop. Ottoman Empire sold for $120,000 as a yearling. This is the female family of Breeders' Cup Distaff winner Spain. And I like how this horse passed a lot of horses in his debut at Churchill Downs. He gets a fast pace. He could come rolling for Tom Amoss.
Absolutely, and he should get a nice pace to run into. And some of those horses that he ran on by included a next out winner on the board there. This is the first crop for Classic Empire. Another horse who's maybe remembered more for his longer distance victories like the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and Arkansas Derby. But Classic Empire was a 2-year-old who came on early and in 1-turn races, and some of his offspring have shown the same already, several winners thus far.
Trainer Kelly Breen does very, very well with 2-year-olds. And the number 8, Duvini, was a debut winner at Monmouth, showing speed from the inside. Maybe not the sexiest pedigree, but as we watch Duvini's race, he showed speed, he showed grit, and this is a horse that I think with his outside draw and Louis Saez aboard can work out a tracking trip.
Yeah, and this is a really interesting pedigree. By Treasure Beach, a Grade 1 winning son of Galileo. You certainly think distance, you think turf, but over a smoke blackened mare, and that's all dirt speed. It's a very interesting combination.
And one of the horses he beat at Monmouth came back to earn a 63 buyer in his next race. Certainly Duvini can improve from the 59 he earned in his debut. Here is the Spendthrift stallion Gormley, the number 9, Headline Report. Headline Report's a half-brother to a stakes-winning dirt sprinter. This horse sold for $550,000 as a March 2-year-old. The second dam Critical Eye was a multiple Grade 1 stakes winner in New York. And let's watch Headline Report do what many Wesley Ward-trained 2-year-olds do during the spring meeting at Keeneland. They win.
Yeah, and Gormley, now standing at Spendthrift, was a multiple Grade 1 winner. He was a Grade 1 winner routing in the fall of his 2-year-old year, but also won his debut going 6.5 furlongs prior to that. So I think he represents a chance to breed into the AP Indy sire line via Gormley and his own late sire Malibu Moon. the stamina, the classic types, all that represents, but you're also adding some precocity based on Gormley's racetrack experience. And Gormley is certainly showing that with several winners thus far for Spendthrift.
The number 10, KAVOD, what a bargain. They bought this horse for $3,500 as a yearling. He is already stakes placed by virtue of the race we're going to see right now, the Tremont. He was a good second in here. He was off slow, in behind horses in a short field, and I like the way he split horses professionally to finish second behind this odds-on favorite.
Oh, definitely. A good effort in a race that a couple of horses in here are coming out of. He is the most experienced horse in this race. So if you think experience will count in this big field, KAVOD is your man. That said, I'm kind of interested to see what he ultimately wants to do in the long run. His sire Lee was a multi-surface performer and plenty of turf in this female family as well.
Let's take a look at the formulator fact for the number 11 Seize the Night's trainer, Dallas Stewart, who does very, very good work with 2-year-old last out maiden winners on dirt. 40%, 4 for his last 10, with a positive return on investment. And as we take a look at Seize the Night's horse card, we see a runner who in his career debut rallied very nicely from off the pace, and he might get the right setup in here. He's a $55,000 yearling by Carpe Diem, and he's a half-brother to a juvenile stakes winning dirt sprinter. So this horse has some long shot potential, perhaps from the back of the pack.
Definitely. He should appreciate the little bit of extra ground here. Another horse who was coming late on debut and should get some pace to run into here. And Carpe Diem himself was a grade 1 winning 2-year-old.
Completing the field is the number 12, Lucago. This horse is bred sprint on both sides by Cantharos, the dam, a stakes-winning turf sprinter, some class in the female family. Let's watch start number 2 for Lucago down at Gulfstream Park, a $50,000 maiden claimer. Showed much improved early speed in that race, was able to hold sway.
Yeah, I like the improvement in the speed, but he is going to have to work out a trip from a tough outside post in the big field, and he is taking a big step up in class. Another horse who's by a very good 2-year-old sire who was a very good 2-year-old himself, Cantharos.
Fun race, the grade 3 Sanford. Full field, promising horses, lots of first crop stallions, good connections, lots of speed types. Let's take a look at our top selection for the Sanford. We're going to go down towards the inside with the number 1, Wit for Todd Pletcher.
Yeah, as we said, I think experience will count in this race, in this big field. And I liked the way that Witt overcame a little bit of adversity of his own making with that slow break on debut. Really showed professionalism the way he came on to win. So I will use Witt on top here. I think our top 2 picks are probably going to wind up the favorites in this race. So I tried to look for a little bit of price behind them.
I think the break is the key for Witt. He's got to get away well. He can't afford to be shuffled back from that inside post, but he showed me a lot in that debut. Well-bred, well-connected. I'll go with Witt along with Nicole. 1254 for Nicole, 1259 for me. It's the Sanford. It's Saturday's Spa Baby race, and our Spa Baby coverage is presented by Spendthrift.